Alright, that should have switched. Alright, that's better. So I'm trying a different camera setup today. Okay. Still. What's that? See how that goes. So yeah, here's the carving we laid out on the first stream. Didn't do a lot of work. I kind of cleaned up some of this, got rid of some of the chisel marks, drew in all the lines. I didn't care to see all that. I did sharpen my chisel. Hopefully it works a little bit better. Definitely. Use the that's gonna be, what's his name? Stubbs McKenzie or something? Stubbs McNubbs. Guy on YouTube who does a lot of woodworking and carpentry videos. And he has a guide on how to sharpen chisels using sandpaper, and it's really good. I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and get some proper stones. I have one, kind of the classic actual stone, but I've used it so much that it's now super cupped, I guess you would say. There's a big divot in it. Makes it not great for sharpening. I might have to get one of those where it's like metal and just a little layer of super hard grit on top. Like I said, the sandpaper method works really well, but it's just so hard to find decent sandpaper. You just, like, seriously, sharpening this little thing basically tore all the grit off of the lower grit sandpaper. It's not like sandpaper's crazy expensive, but money's a little tight. I'd rather not waste it on. By the way, I didn't. How's the? Pretty good. I did want to talk. Oops. Carved into that. Wanted to talk about. I watch a lot of React content on YouTube. Not just VTubers, but traditional. Well, they're not streamers, are they? Traditional React content. One of my favorite channels, Cinebinge. Definitely worth checking out if you're interested in that sort of thing. Did Dances with Wolves recently. good movie. Starring Kevin Costner. I'd seen it sort of in passing when I was young. Kind of things that, you know, all the moms and the aunts and everybody loved that movie, and the fact that Kevin Costner is extremely handsome had nothing to do with that. But in it, there's a... If you haven't seen it, it's about a soldier in the Civil War, American Civil War. Does anybody else have a Civil War? But he moves out, or he gets stationed out on the frontier, which is, at the time, current residence of a lot of American Indians. By the way, I say American Indians. Go watch the fantastic CGP Grey video where he was going to talk about reservations. He never did the series, but fucking he still might. But apparently the term Native American is actually kind of... people feel mixed about it. Because it's... Indian was a term that was kind of bestowed upon them by foreigners, and then foreigners again just decided to start calling them something else. And yes, there's more respect, and the new term might be a little nicer, but it's still a foreign group determining what you are referred to as. So a lot of them, a lot of people, a lot of Native Indians apparently aren't big fans of the name. I don't actually know that for a fact. I don't know any. We kind of got off the point. Sorry. Anyway, so Kevin Costner befriends the Sioux Indians, which again is, from what I understand, not how they would refer to themselves. It's actually the name given to them by one of the other tribes that did not care for them. I wonder if it's the other tribe in the movie, which is, I want to say, the Pawnee. Point is, he meets a girl who's living with the American Indians, but she's white. Her family was killed by, I think, the Pawnee. And the Sioux took her in. And when he finds her, she has been recently widowed. Her husband was killed. And Kevin Costner kind of asks about that and finds out that she's grieving. But while discussing this, he finds out that her adoptive father is the one who gets to decide when she's done grieving. which George and Simone from Cinebinge were kind of interested in. The idea of somebody else being in charge of your grieving is definitely... Now, I don't know if that's an actual Sioux tradition or if that was just made up for the movie. But it's a very interesting idea. I don't know how I feel about trying to do a double layer. I got this guy. Which I did not sharpen. We might come back to that. It was, yeah, having somebody else decide when you are done grieving. Very interesting idea, because you can get lost in any emotion, really. Fear, happiness, rage. But I think sorrow is an easy one to get really lost in. Because you can kind of ignore the happiness. Like when you're lost in love or joy or stuff like that, negative things happen and kind of force you out of it. You can fight against that for a while, but eventually it catches up with you. Whereas with despair, it's really easy. Make sure that happiness doesn't find you. And you get lost in it and just stay there. That's not to say that you're not entitled to grieve when bad things happen. Of course you are. But the idea of somebody else coming to you and telling you, like, hey, you're done. You gotta let this go now. And it's somebody else being in charge of your emotions, which on a primal level feels wrong. Right? It's surrendering control of your life to someone else because it's inconvenient, I guess. But at the same time, if the person who's been put in charge of your emotions has your best interests in mind, it can kind of help to have someone pull you out of that funk. Just really intrigued me, the idea of it. course, the fact that she was already fucking Kevin Costner probably helped her to get over it. Knows it helped me. It's just been on my mind since I saw that reaction. What else has been going on? Oh, I was talking about money. Might actually have money to do things this week. Got a check in the mail. I was in a commercial. Not as anything noteworthy. No, I'm going to leave that. Except it fucks up everything. Okay. Yeah, they were filming at my work. They said, hey, you know, we need people for the background. If you're interested, we'll give you a couple bucks. That check came today, which was nice. I might use some of that money to get sharpening stones or maybe some more wood for some projects. I got other woodworking projects planned. Didn't tap that. Got one over there, but I want to finish this one first. The one over there is more what I was planning on when I started this channel. Do I want to? Yeah, I do. This might be a mistake, but I'm going to do it. Story of my life. Guess what? That story ends poorly. And with me alone in this house having an aneurysm. Till somebody calls the cops for the smell. And then my poor nieces and nephews have to go through my shit. It's not like they're getting money. You get this house, but that's about all they're getting. I phrase that weird. Not to say that I wouldn't leave them my money. Just that there's no money to leave them. I did stand-up comedy for a little while. I'd like to do it again. Sorry, I just made myself way more grandiose. I was a fucking open micer. But I did it and I wrote down a bit along those lines. Like I'll stock up on like newspapers from far into the future of when I could possibly live, or like put dildos in Jack in the Boxes. Just something to make it fun for whoever gets stuck cleaning this place out. Clown suit with a dildo stitched onto it or something. Well, now that I say that out loud, having sexual stuff around, my fucking nieces and nephews are adults. The oldest one as a kid already. And the next two are in serious relationships. They're talking about getting married. Actually, one of them just moved in with her boyfriend. don't see them very much, which is unfortunate. Of course, at this point, you know, they're adults. They don't want to see their uncle. It's not like I was a huge part of their lives before. I think that always bothered me. Is that my uncles were very involved in my life. Because while they were my mother's brothers. We lived in Michigan, which is where my mother's family is. Whereas my father's family is down here in Texas. How does that actually look? I mean, rougher than hell, but turned out okay. Not that guy. See if we can clean up some of these lines. Sandpaper here. 80 grit. Happens. Oh, how does that sound? It's not pleasant, but it could be worse, I suppose. Yeah, no, I don't think I like doing that on camera. Well, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I got all that done a lot faster than I was expecting. So I'm not going to take the whole thing down. I just want to give some definition to this. Like that I'm doing this, and my next project planned is like 800 times more complicated. Really setting myself up for failure. Another great autobiography title. Shame I dug in there. Looking at it now, there's sorry. I'm gonna make this a little more defined. I'm trying it so that this stands out a little bit more. I don't like doing this because I'm worried it's gonna almost recreate the very first woodworking experience. Very first time I tried woodworking, I used the X-Acto ones. I got them over here. These guys. And then I was trying to carve something out of a 4x4. And I was holding it kind of like this. And I had the thing like that. Caught a knot. Slipped. Hit me like right there. And it split the nail right there. Good chunk of flesh too. Needed 12 stitches. It was pretty gnarly. Funny thing is, I didn't even think to call an ambulance. I just immediately started walking around, because I was in an apartment complex at the time. This was in Virginia. And I just started going up to like neighbors' houses and knocking on the door. One dude answered and I was like, "Hey, can you drive me to the hospital?" I still remember he was watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, if I recall. One of the Full Metal Alchemists. That's why I don't want to do it like that. Take the I wonder if anyone else finds this sound appealing. I do. I imagine there's people who would click the stream and immediately turn it off. Well. Kind of learning how to clean up this line. Well, that turned out pretty good. I just kind of real light, no pressure. Dig into it. That works pretty well. Anytime I grip a chisel like this, I think of playing Tony Hawk. Oh, you couldn't really see. I was holding it. Was I holding it like this? I always think of Tony Hawk. They called left-footed people Goofy Foot. A lot of weird names for left-handed people and stuff like that. Your father was left-handed. He is left-handed. He's alive. Don't know why I acted like he was dead. Saw them last weekend. They're doing good. Well, they're doing. That's about how all of us are doing, I suppose. Watching somebody, I won't say the name, because no need to be, no need to cause issues. Somebody complaining about racism on Twitch and Twitter. Watching them before I started streaming. It's one of those things where it is bad if you have to deal with that stuff. Shouldn't have to. That's unfortunate, but the people who seem to suffer from it most just discovered this, Don, are exactly the people who make absolutely everything about race. You hear me over this? The answer is yes. I definitely like the formula of lining this out before stream. I think I might take a mallet and do proper deep lines. We don't get all this tear out. So anyways, yes. Who complain about racism? Make everything about race. It really, and this individual in particular, I know has gotten, makes me wonder if, like, oh, these people are saying all this racist stuff to me. I know some of the arguments she's gotten in on Twitter. Can't help but wonder. Some arguments that I agree with the people who were going against her, and I agree to some extent with the people going against her. Not people just saying slurs and stuff like that, but can't help but wonder if the people she's talking about being racist towards her are the people I'm agreeing with. It's like, no, I think you were in the wrong on this one. I think that's one of the issues I have with all the... Alright, I'm about to make some right-wing comments. Surprise, the fucking old white man is right-wing. I'm not super right-wing, by the way. But one of the things the quote-unquote woke people catch flack for I feel like they kind of, rather than serve the causes they champion, they do a lot to undermine. You know? Like, yeah, there's a lot of trans people who have been wrongly, you know, labeled and prosecuted, and that's awful. But if you look at people who happen to be trans and are also huge pieces of shit, and go like, stop treating trans people like pieces of shit, you're hurting your own cause. And I got through this way faster than I expected. So do we want to start on the next one? No, we do not. I don't want to end the stream after 40 minutes isn't. That's unfortunate. Good people kind of get caught up. These fanatics. Although I'm sure folks like Kirsha, and don't get me wrong, I love Kirsha. She's fucking fantastic. She is very much a woman in the, like, never back down. Once someone has crossed me, they are forever a monster. But people with good goals and good hearts have been caught up in fanaticism and had a bunch of bullshit. That thing is, it keeps happening. We're gonna go on another impromptu house tour here in a minute. Because I finished my beer. There's a computer. Foosball table. Oh, you know what I talked about it? You see, this was the gin I was drinking last time. Very good, one of my favorites. I'll probably do a proper house tour at some point. Ah, that one was warm. I really mangled that guy. I made it too thin, I think. Where the sticker was. There's a little more I can pull out here. I just told that story about me mutilating my thumb and immediately point the chisel at myself. But A, this chisel isn't as sharp. I'm not pushing with nearly as much force. So don't do that. You gotta learn how to do the right thing wrong before you can do the wrong thing right. Good lesson I learned. Anything on the back of this? Oh yeah, I just kind of was testing how the grain went. Oh, I can test that. What can I test it with? I'll bring you down here to look with me. What do I not give a shit about? This guy. So for the carving I have planned next week, or the next carving I do, it will probably be next week. Look how dark it is back here. Wonder if any of that picked up. Thought I might do some wood burning, but A, I don't have a wood burning kit. B, I don't know how poplar burns. Let's see if this guy. Nope. I'm gonna do this off camera. How does this sound? So can you see that now? Kind of did not look great. I think I got these at Walmart. Just wanted to see if they were worth a damn. They're not. Well, some of them might be alright. I like that. It actually looks pretty good. Just straight flame to it. Interesting. I wouldn't do that over here. This would actually probably catch. That does. I do like the way that looks. Got a nice color. So you're getting this real hot. Don't lose it. Mildly warm. Still pointed it off. Curiosity. Scream. Yeah, I'm kind of lost, you know. That apart. Oh, damn it, the camera flipped again. Oh, flip back. I do like the chest cam more. It's